And welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your only host on this day. Welcome back to another episode of the Ministry of Truth. I am your only host on this show. And it is a fine Monday afternoon. Holy fuck, I have no idea what's going on right now. Hold on, let me fix this shit. I'm all out of whack today. My wife left for 3 weeks, and I'm just here, I'm trying to adult, but I don't know how to adult, so this should be interesting. Good morning, Sabby. Good morning, Corey. Good morning, Zippity. And good morning. God damn it. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Oh my God, I'm slow today. So what do we got today? We got a lot of shit that happened this past couple days, to include Donald Trump making a trade deal, Donald Trump doing something that every Democrat has said they were going to do, but nobody even stepped up to the plate. And it happened this morning. And if you are a patient that relies on pharmaceutical products and you have to pay for them, unlike I don't, you're about to get some good news. And by good news, I mean it goes into effect immediately. So before we get into anything, obviously it's Monday, and I totally forgot I'm all out of wax. So let's get a song started. And everybody that's making fun of me, this one is how I feel.
Tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have runneth dry. I tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give, the more fucks I've tried to get. I'm over my fuck budget and I'm now in fucking debt. I strive to get everything done. I play by all the rules, but I've very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I would have laughed, alas to no avail. I'd run round like a moron to unequivocally fail. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck fuse has just blown. I've been hunting for my fucks all day, but they've upped and fucked off home. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck rations are depleted. I've rallied my fuck army, but it's been fucking defeated. The effort has just not been worth the time or the expense. I've exhausted all my energy for minimal recompense. The complete lack of acknowledgement has now begun to grow.
I don't know why I took my hair down like an idiot.
I've come to realize that I don't give a fuck. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have blown away. My fucks are now so fucked off they refuse to fucking stay. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have gone insane. They've come back round and passed me while they're
Dude, this mustache is
off again.
epic.
I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have all dissolved. I planned many projects, but my fucks won't be involved. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have all been spent. They fucked off from the building and I don't know where they went. I've no more fucks to give, I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks, I've no more fucks, I've no more fucks to give. Thank you very much.
Now that's how we start a show. That's how we start a show. Believe it or not, like 10 minutes ago, I was fucking about pass out in my chair. Dude, I got that fucking island here going on. You can tell it's humid outside. Anyway, before we get into the news, my buddy sent me this yesterday, or was it this morning? Or maybe I just watched it this morning. But we're going to take a look at it. And I'm telling you what, this is why Me and my buddy, we're pretty much on the same wavelength. So we're gonna have a 4 minute and 26 second. Hello, Batmom. Um, forgot what I was gonna say. 4 minute 26 second history lesson on shit that I've been saying that's gonna make me look not so crazy, or or there we go. Or it'll make me look even more crazy. Ready? Break.
America is Egypt. The Creeks are actually the Greeks. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy, also known as the Iroquois, are the Romans.
This is a Native American, so I trust him. It's hot.
Utah is the land of Judah. New York is the oldest city on the planet.
Wait. Did he say Judah? I'm not going to Utah. And New York City is pretty fucking old, believe it or not. Why do you think it actually became the capital? The Continental Congress, right? That was New York City. Not Philadelphia. Where's Philadelphia? Bro.
And the Mississippi River is the Nile.
Wait, it gets better.
The New World is actually the Old World. Life started in the Americas. There's
Wait, what?
more pyramids and mummies here than any part of the world.
Facts. Remember,
Turtle Island.
when he says the Americas, North and South America. Hence, the Gulf of America
Is actually Pangea. Noah built his ark out of wood that only grows in Florida for a flood that only floods like in Florida.
or North Carolina.
Back in Adam and Eve's days, and even the days of Noah, everybody was giant.
Mm-hmm. Yo, look at when he was born. 1856. It's a weird year.
And they also find giants all over the east coast of America.
And the Central Plains.
The Smithsonian and the Vatican have destroyed all the giant bones. They were anywhere from about 7 feet to 25 feet tall. The Mesopotamian creation story about the Anunnaki, the twin brothers that came from the stars, Enki and Enlil, that created mankind and taught them things, sounds a lot like a lot of Native American creation stories about two twin brothers that came from the stars that were giants and created mankind and everything. Elephants come from America. They derive from woolly mammoths. Camels also come from America. They derive from alpacas and llamas in South America.
Wait to
So
hear
do
the Atlantic.
zebras and horses. Cheetahs also come from America. The Aztecs called their lands Aztlan, and it's actually Atlantis.
Really? Arizona. California.
The Egyptian gods.
Yo, when this part I didn't even think about it. When he explains this shit, it's fucking insane. How the Egyptian gods.
Horus was a peregrine falcon from upstate New York. Set was a South American anteater. Anubis was a dog from Central America. Isis is a blue heron from upstate New York as well. If life started in Africa, why doesn't everybody have African DNA?
Wait.
But everybody has a Cherokee grandma or a Blackfoot princess grandma. Modern science says mankind started in Africa 300,000 years ago. But here's a hammer that's 400 million years old, found in Texas.
All right. That was me being crazy for 4 minutes and 26 seconds straight. I don't feel so crazy. Obviously, that's why my buddy sent it to me. Because we're both crazy together, I guess. So, before we get into the meat and potatoes, there was a press conference y'all may have missed. All right? I missed it too until I caught the replay. Now, keep in mind, YouTube, this is satire. It is AI. So if you're going to cry about it and saying misinformation, go fuck yourself and your mother.
Mr. Reagan.
During the election campaign, Democrats accused me of planning to implement an extreme far-right agenda known as Project 2025. Well, they were right. Effective immediately, we will be executing the true Trump agenda, the infamous Project 2025, with an executive order. First, we will be banning all socks with sandals. It's ugly.
Damn right.
Okay?
About time.
Needs to stop. Secondly, we will replace each and every statue the Antifa and BLM vandals toppled during their riots. We will replace them each with a statue of
Did I have
me.
a list when I said misinformation? No, I didn't. Misinformation.
Donald Trump. Maybe gold, maybe marble, maybe copper like Lady Liberty. Copper looks good. I like the patina. Antifa, trust me, you're going to love it. From now on, U.S. immigration policy will only permit immigration for Eastern European women, and only the single hot ones, just the hot ones. We're going to make America sexy again.
I like it. I support it.
Following the success of our Gulf of America name change, starting today, we are officially renaming the GMC Denali the GMC McKinley. It's the greatest name change in history, believe me. I will fix the homeless problem once and for all. We are developing a new game show called Actual Survivor. Homeless people are taken to an island where they will participate in a series of fun challenges culminating in a children's game called the Squid Game this fall on
I don't really get
NBC.
that.
It's gonna be
I haven't
great.
watched it.
I hereby demand that Jeff Bezos stop making his rocket ships look like giant penises.
About fucking time.
Enough. It's disgusting, Jeff. From now on, Canadian bacon will now officially be known as bitch bacon, because I just made Canada my bitch. Similarly, Canadian geese, now bitch geese. Everyone is fighting about transgender athletes in women's sports. So we're going to establish a new Olympics.
I like this.
The Gay Olympics.
Wait.
Where gay men and lesbian women compete against each other. And transgender athletes are still not included. Finally, ICE will now round up and deport all Americans who still wear COVID masks alone in their cars. Enjoy Venezuela, losers. So that should give you an idea of the brilliant thing.
Yeah, get rid of those mask wearers that still wear their mask in their car. All right, so a lot of things have been happening that the media won't report on, and I was actually catching wind of this last night. So Donald Trump, I guess, cut a deal with, not really a deal, with Hamas to free the last living American hostage in Gaza, which happened this morning. Mainstream media is not reporting on it. What they're reporting on is what we're going to talk about again later in the show, which if y'all haven't seen what happened on, I think Friday or Saturday, you will now. And it's disgusting. And I firmly believe at least one of these people should be charged with assaulting a federal officer. But before we do that, let's go listen to this story of Eden Alexander that the mainstream media should be playing right now.
This is an ABC News special report.
And hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We're coming on the air for a moment 583 days in the making. ABC News now confirms Hamas has just released its last known American hostage. 21-year-old American-Israeli Eden Alexander is now free after a 19
Wait till you hear how he got
ordeal.
kidnapped.
He had been held in Gaza since the horrific attack in southern Israel on October 7th. His release coming just ahead of President Trump's trip to the Middle East this week. Israel insisting this is not a prisoner exchange, claiming Hamas is getting nothing in return. The IDF pausing combat operations during Alexander's transfer. However, Israel says it still plans to increase military attacks in Gaza. Eden Alexander grew up in Tenafly, New Jersey. He moved to Israel to serve in the military after he graduated high school. He was assigned to the infantry.
Bro, you joined the Israeli army. What the fuck did you expect to happen?
And stationed near the border with Gaza in September of 2023, just weeks before October 7th. His mother traveling to Israel yesterday. She is there for that long-awaited reunion. Alexander's parents have been extremely vocal in demanding Israel work to obtain the release of their son and the other hostages. They are calling his release the greatest gift imaginable. Back home in Tenafly, this is what it looks like. The community turning out, anxiously awaiting the news of his release. Many people say it was just important to be there to show their support for the entire family. Let's get right to our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell. Ian, this is the first time the White House has negotiated directly with a terrorist organization. Let's talk about how this came together and what type of precedent this sets.
Look at this dude's fucking hair.
Yeah, hi, Kira. A dramatic moment and
the British
dramatic
Johnny
developments
Bravo.
as we are talking. We are expecting that he's been handed over to the Red Cross. He will then be transferred to the custody of the Israeli Defense Forces. There's a helicopter waiting on the ground at the military base where his mum is now waiting to be reunited with him. Her saying, I just want to see him, hug him, be with him, and that they were totally surprised by the news that
You're
the
right,
US
Jelly. I just didn't want to say anything.
going to secure
He is
the release. But it's
Israeli,
an absolutely
so
significant moment, especially coming on the back of that direct
Hello,
deal
Jilly. Where's my stuffed animal?
between the Trump administration and the Houthi rebels in Yemen. What you have is a Trump administration essentially bypassing Israel for the second time. This is bad news for Netanyahu, who has been cut out of this deal, although the Israelis are going to have to secure it. It's good news for the Trump administration. Just to be clear, he is the last living American hostage. There are other American hostages who we sadly believe may have lost their lives during the fighting or during their captivity, but we're waiting for details on that. But it is a significant moment. President Trump on the cusp of traveling to the region. This will be seen as a diplomatic coup for him, especially having brokered a ceasefire agreement between India and Pakistan. So there are developments going on at the moment. We have to wait and see what condition he's in. But one other important thing I think to tell you is there has been a suggestion from Yael Alexander, this is Eden's mother, that perhaps, depending on how he is,
Alexander
Eden may travel to
now?
Doha, to Qatar, and meet with President Trump, who will be there later this week. Kira?
He'll be there Wednesday, but even better. So apparently there's going to be a meeting face-to-face. A face-to-face. Putin, Zelensky, and Trump. Trump already ended a conflict between Iraq, Pakistan, and India. Trade deal with the UK. And then we're going to get at two more things today that they're going to spin it into a way that's negative as well. Hello, Dominique. Good to see you.
And Ian, I had the chance to interview Yael and Adi a couple of times as they anxiously were waiting for this very moment. And I did ask them both, what are you going to do the minute your son comes home? And both of them telling me we're going to hug him forever and never let him go. On the note of the president heading to the region now, senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is standing by. Let's talk about the fact that this is the last living American hostage that's coming home. What role will the U.S. now play in this effort to end the conflict,
None.
Selena?
Well, this is a major moment, of course, as well for the Trump administration, the result of these direct negotiations between the U.S. and Hamas. Now, Trump officials are seeing this as a gesture of goodwill to the U.S. The president saying himself today that he sees this as a step taken in good faith.
Oh, no, he's already talked to his parents
conflict
on the
and
phone.
This deal, we're told here,
he's
came
out.
together really in the last couple of days. We're told that the officials involved were holding their breath until the last moment, until they saw the announcement coming from Hamas. And President Trump today praising his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who has played a lead role in these negotiations. We are told that Steve Witkoff is actually on his way to the military base, expected to meet with Adon Alexander. And Alexander's parents have been a tireless advocate. In fact, they even met with presidential candidate Trump back in October 2024, where President Trump really developed a personal connection to this case. President Trump, as you just mentioned, he just took off for his Middle East trip. He'll be stopping in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. Notably, he is not going to be stopping in Israel, but this conflict in Gaza is going to loom large over his entire trip.
And Selena, one more question, but before that, I want to let everyone know we are being told the handover has begun. Adon is now on his way to the hospital. As he heads to the hospital, you mentioned Trump heading to the region now, clearly to make more deals with other countries.
Yeah, I mean, geopolitics as well as economic ties, it is going to loom large over this trip. But the fact he's not stopping in Israel is significant. As Ian had just mentioned earlier, the Trump administration directly negotiating with Hamas, leading to this deal, a direct result of those negotiations.
You know, when you think about
the president,
Trump saying, you know, he met with the Taliban and he had it set to where they wouldn't attack us on the way out. But then Joe Biden fucked that up. Now we have this. No wonder he didn't go through Israel.
He is breaking with tradition by choosing the Middle East as the location for his first major foreign trip. He made the same decision in his first administration, skipping over America's closest neighbors. The president, this comes as his administration has been growing closer ties to Middle Eastern Gulf region nations and Saudi Arabia, where he's stopping it. It served as a critical venue for conflicts, mediating conflicts around the world, including also the war in Ukraine.
Oh, that's still going on?
Thank you. And I know we all anxiously await to see those pictures of the entire Alexander.
Nah, it doesn't bother me.
Jack from Georgia.
All right, I'm going to play this real quick,
and
I need a snack. I'll be right back.
Under your leadership, the DOJ subcommittee has been one of the most active subcommittees across Congress, and my constituents are proud of our work to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars across the federal government. And today, it is no surprise that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle have spent a majority of their time desperately avoiding the issue before us, because 80% of Americans, Republicans and Democrats alike, believe biological men should never compete in women's sports. Mr. Layfelt, as Mr. Fallon noted, you are testifying today under subpoena because you refused to appear before us voluntarily. Why did you refuse our initial invitation to testify?
Congressman, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address that. Our CEO of the organization, Phil Andrews, was offered as a witness, and we felt, given his full-time capacity that he operates in this role,
wait, if he's
that
the CEO, what do you do?
The questions more thoroughly than I can. However, since I'm here, I'm happy to be here and answer your questions.
Thank you. And as chairman of USA Fencing, how many members of USA Fencing are biological men who have participated in women's competitions? Rough estimate.
Rough estimate, sir. I believe that it's roughly 200 total, with I think 39 that are transgender women.
And of that group of biological men, how many have won championships in women's competitions? Rough estimate.
I couldn't tell you the specific number, sir.
5, more than 10?
I'm honestly not sure, sir. I mean, I have the data on how often cisgender women prevail against transgender women, but Specifically, the number of medals, et cetera, I'm not sure off the top of my head, sir.
And conversely, how
You
many
only have 200 people.
biological women are participating in men's competitions within USA Fencing?
34% of our events are mixed, sir, and so it's fairly regular for that kind of event to happen. There are a plurality of our events.
And again, I'm just referring to specifically male, non-mixed competitions, specifically male competitions. How many biological women are participating in those, to the best of your knowledge?
So just so I understand your question, sir, biological women competing in the men's division, sir?
Yes.
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. Oh, it's because it doesn't
Well,
happen.
I think the disparity alone, as we've seen, confirms that this approach is inequitable. The data across other sports affirms it. In recent years, over 600 female athletes have lost more than 900 medals to biological men and women's sports. And again, over 80% of Americans, Republicans and Democrats alike, agree that biological men should never compete in women's sports. Mr. Layfelt, and I mean this with respect, in your capacity as a representative of USA Fencing, have you ever impersonated a woman?
No, I have not, sir, not to my knowledge.
I ask because I understand you have a history of creating fictitious female personas. In one instance, you impersonated a woman named Dorothy and wrote an email to yourself, which you then published on social media for all your followers to see along with your response. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I do, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address that. It was a poor attempt at humor. It was unbecoming of me as a leader of this organization to post that as I did. And quite frankly, moving forward, that's not something that's going to happen again. It's unacceptable. And it's not something that should happen with any human-to-human interaction, period.
Period.
Thank you.
Period.
Ms. Turner, Ms. McNabb, I want to commend both of you. You are both very brave women.
All right, that's the only part I
Ms.
want to
Turner,
get.
your courage that you displayed on March 3rd.
Cross-dressing, dude. Just kidding. So this is where... Dude, what day was this? The 9th. So Friday. So this is the video. If you haven't seen that, 3 congressmen and a mayor tried to break into a ICE detention facility. Mayor got arrested. The 3 congresswomen, well, George Santos' son, I'm going to count him as a woman. They also were there. And they said nothing happened as far as those 3. Well, I'm going to watch this body cam footage from the day. And you tell me if you think these Congress people did anything wrong.
You have nonsense. You have 20. This is the mayor of the largest city. You are here on private property. On private property.
All right, this is the last. I'm not in. Listen, this is the last warning.
Oh, hey, Congresswoman. Let's show some respect. Show some
Now,
respect.
here's the thing.
You have no respect.
When you come into... God damn it.
Mr. Mayor,
when you go into any facility and you want a tour, it is commonly known that you request the tour. Just because you're a congressman doesn't make you fucking special. Just because you're a congressman doesn't mean you're above the law. Just because you're Letitia James doesn't mean you're above the law. Now, will anything happen to this? Rumor is there's something will. However,
one that is not.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It's the last warning. You will be placed on arrest.
You let him in, you piece of He's the mayor. Let him in.
Don't rush in. Don't rush in. Don't, please. Clear the gate. Back up.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor.
Leaving peacefully.
Shame on you people.
They're saying that because he was on this side, that he
Where's my congresswoman? Where's my congresswoman? Don't touch us. Don't touch us. Back up. All right. Back up. Back up.
Don't touch us. This is not right.
Don't touch him? Why? Bet you tripped. Look at that whale. He is most likely going to get charged. It's 18 U.S. Code 111.
It's on the coat. It's on the coat. On the coat. Calm down. Calm down. I'm not resisting. I know.
Keep all your damn hands off of me. Hell wrong with you?
Trespassing.
Put your hands on me. Hell wrong with you?
You're not special.
Hell wrong with you?
And look how she's acting like she's her shit don't stink.
Miss Perez, get your fucking officer.
Let your hands off for her.
Imagine me trying to break into a prison. If I pushed a guard, I'd have been on the ground.
All right. I filed a complaint. You can't talk to a congresswoman like that, and you got to put your hands on me.
Congresswoman, you're nothing special. If y'all can take Donald Trump and try him and put him in handcuffs and make a mugshot, that means nobody's above the law, right? In theory. Fucking clowns, man.
I want to start here just broadly. What happened there at the facility that justified arresting the mayor of the city of Newark?
Thanks, Victor, for having me. I'm glad I can be here to actually give viewers the facts. What happened is that these members of Congress, including the mayor as well, and a mob of protesters, as there was a bus full of detainees going through the gate, they stormed the gate and actually entered the first security checkpoint. This put law enforcement at risk, and this actually put the detainees as well at risk. If any official, including these members of Congress, want to enter the facility and take a tour, DHS is more than accommodating, but just because you're a member of Congress does not mean you can break the law, trespass, put law enforcement at risk, and storm the detention facility. I have yet to hear anyone on this network actually talk about who is in this detention facility. There are members of MS-13, known terrorists, murderers, child rapists. There are some of the worst
and they want to free them
in this detention facility. And I'm still very confused why these Democrats are so hell-bent on getting these heinous actors out of this facility when we have the proper permitting. And actually, in that press conference, those members of Congress actually noted the great conditions of this facility that our ICE enforcement officers so bravely operate.
So, as you said here today and in your statement, that they stormed the gate and broke into the detention center, according to the statement. Was anybody else arrested other than the mayor of Newark?
There were multiple people arrested. And Victor, I think that we should
they don't mention that part.
There will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers, including body slamming a female ICE officer.
I don't know if it was a body slam.
We will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a video of members of Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
Let me see that one. I didn't see that one.
If you have that
I saw a body check numerous times with throwing elbows. Body slam?
Are you suggesting that members of Congress will be arrested who were there yesterday?
This is an ongoing investigation, and that is definitely on the table.
Who has the video?
The police.
ICE does, and we will be releasing that very shortly.
Okay. Let's talk about the facility, because what the mayor says, and he's been saying for several days, is that you all don't have the proper permitting, or at least the facility owned by Geo Group, a private company that's contracted with the federal government, does not have the proper permitting, the certificate of occupancy, and there are some violations. To that, you say what?
That is flat out false. That is just political gamesmanship. We have the proper permitting. We've gone through proper inspections. It's a joke. And by the way, he should not. This is a guy who is going and storming.
And he wants to be the governor
facility. He's
of
putting
New Jersey.
detainees at risk. He's putting law enforcement at risk. He's joined by a mob
did this on
of
purpose.
people who have said we should end ICE. This is nothing more than political games, and we're not playing.
So there's a member of Congress, LaMonica McIver, who
that's
says
the one.
that she told USA Today that ICE asked the mayor to leave. He did. And from the video that I've seen, when he was taken into custody, he was on public property. He was no longer on the private property of Geo Group. So if he was asked to leave and then he complied, why then take him into custody?
Whether you're a civilian, a mayor, or a member of Congress, if you are storming an ICE detention facility and putting law enforcement and detainees at risk, you can bet that we will arrest you and you will face the law. You will face justice. These other members of Congress will as well, as will the other protesters, some of which were arrested.
Okay, so we've got the mayor coming up in just a moment, but while I have you, I want to ask you about this reporting that the president is in conversations about suspending habeas corpus, one's right to challenge their detention in court. What would be the purpose of that when the Constitution says that there are very rare opportunities for this to happen, only when there is...
But the Constitution doesn't mention about protecting terrorists. Now, does it? Monkey.
An invasion. And so why would that be necessary at this point? We could put up here this section 9 of Article 1. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it.
Victor, I'm not going to get ahead of the president. I'm not going to get ahead of Secretary Noem when they...
Public safety. Rapists, murderers, Jews. What else did they say? Anyway. So this next one's a little more of like a personal look inside yourself. And this is why it's almost impossible for me to get fleeced.
Have you ever met someone and instantly understood who they were without them saying a single word? That's not just a hunch. It's a refined psychological skill. Sigma males have an almost uncanny ability to read people. While others are drawn to surface-level charm, Sigmas focus on subtleties, body language, micro-expressions, tone of voice, and the unspoken energy in a room. This isn't guesswork. It's rooted in observational intelligence, a concept studied in psychology that refers to how well a person reads social cues and behavioral patterns. For Sigmas, it's not about being psychic. It's about being perceptive. They don't just hear what people say, they notice what people avoid saying. This ability often stems from spending a lot of time in solitude. Neuroscience shows that solitude enhances introspection and self-awareness, which directly sharpens the skill of understanding others. Why is this important? Because a Sigma moves through the world as an outsider, watching, learning, and decoding. His independence demands that he know who's real and who's fake. And unlike the crowd that's easily influenced by appearances or status, the Sigma cuts straight to character, motive, and intent.
Keep in mind, I'm going to tell you this. It's a little secret. A little secret. Just a little. I may have been bullshitted before, but I can see clearly now the rain is gone. You know what? And if I don't like you, you're probably... What? I don't know what the hell that means.
Dude, stop This farting. Depth of perception isn't just useful, it's essential. In a world driven by manipulation and masks, Sigma males thrive by seeing the truth others overlook.
Oh, that should
so
probably
take your seat in the Sigma circle, because by the end of this journey, you won't just spot lies, you'll understand the storyteller behind them. Number 1, micro-expressions tell the whole truth. While most people focus on what someone says, Sigma males are tuned into a different frequency. One far more revealing. They pay close attention to what the face says in between the words.
Well, they kind of did.
They notice the split-second twitch of an eye, a half smile that doesn't match the tone, or the flicker of contempt that flashes when someone thinks no one's watching. These subtle facial cues are called micro-expressions, and they're gold for Sigmas. Micro-expressions are involuntary facial expressions that last less than half a second and reflect a person's true emotions. According to psychologist Paul Ekman, there are 7 universal micro-expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. Unlike body language or spoken words, micro-expressions are incredibly hard to fake or suppress. That's why Sigma males value them so highly. They reveal truth beneath the surface. Sigmas often operate independently and don't just hand over their trust. Instead, they earn it through observation. They know words can be rehearsed and smiles can be fake, but the micro moment someone flinches or shows unease, that's the real resume. It's a reflection of intention, not just behavior. This natural tendency makes Sigma males almost like human lie detectors. They're not necessarily trained interrogators, but their intuition, combined with this silent skill, gives them an edge in reading people. It helps them avoid manipulation, spot dishonesty, and build alliances with genuine individuals.
Almost.
In a world where people wear masks, Sigmas don't just listen, they decode, and that's what sets them apart. While others are charmed by words, a Sigma is already halfway to the truth before the conversation ends. Number 2, energy doesn't lie. Sigmas walk into a room and instantly feel the vibe before a single word is spoken. It's not some mystical sixth sense, it's deep awareness. While most people are preoccupied with what they want to say or how they'll be perceived, Sigmas are tuned into the unspoken language of energy and body language. They notice subtle cues, the flicker of insecurity in someone's eyes, the tension in a forced smile, and the over-eagerness in someone trying too hard to impress. This perceptiveness comes from a lifestyle rooted in solitude and observation. Sigmas spend a lot of time alone, reflecting, thinking, and observing. Neuroscience backs this up. Studies show that people who practice introspection and mindfulness become more attuned to emotional signals. When you strip away constant distractions and embrace silence, you sharpen your inner radar. You don't just hear people, you them. That's why when others say, something feels off about that person, a Sigma already knows exactly feels off. Whether it's manipulation masked as charm, arrogance disguised as confidence, or desperation cloaked in friendliness, Sigmas spot it immediately. Their emotional intelligence is honed not by talking, but by listening to what isn't said. And when someone is truly secure, grounded, and authentic, Sigmas recognize it with equal clarity. They're drawn to real energy, not performance. This makes them magnetic to some and intimidating to others. In a world addicted to noise, Sigmas thrive in silence, and that silence becomes their superpower. It allows them to observe what others miss, sense what others ignore, and respond from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Number 3, they spot fake confidence from a mile away. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to detect insecurity disguised as confidence, a skill that sets them apart from the crowd. When someone enters a room boasting loudly about their wealth, connections, or achievements, a Sigma doesn't see power, he sees a smokescreen. This kind of boasting is often a form of psychological overcompensation.
Like the mayor?
Linked to what psychologists call imposter syndrome. It's a defense mechanism where individuals project an image of confidence because, deep down, they struggle with feelings of inadequacy. Name-dropping is another telltale sign. Constantly mentioning high-status people or exclusive experiences doesn't convey relevance. It highlights a fear of being overlooked or forgotten. Social psychology suggests that people who frequently seek validation through status symbols may have underlying issues with self-esteem. Sigma males, however, have done the inner work. They know that true value comes not from external validation, but from within.
What's on the note?
Unlike alpha males, who may dominate a room, or beta males, who seek approval, Sigma males walk in with a quiet, unshakable presence. Their confidence is rooted in self-awareness, not the need for attention. This gives them clarity and sharpness of mind, enabling them to see through manipulation and false bravado. In a world full of noise, the Sigma male remains grounded and authentic, analyzing the world around him with a calm, discerning eye. Number 4, they detect emotional manipulation instantly. Whether it's guilt-tripping, playing the victim, or love-bombing, Sigma males spot emotional manipulation instantly. It's like trying to pickpocket someone who doesn't carry a wallet. You can try, but it won't work.
So this one actually was kind of interesting when I ran across, I believe this morning, or was it last night? Hold on. It was this morning around 6. So we all know there's tunnels under just about every major city, every major building, to include the White House, the Lincoln, the Capitol building. And I didn't know they were actually showing them in tours.
So this is one of the neat things about the U.S. Capitol. Of course, this building, construction started.
This motherfucker can't fit in that trapdoor.
And there are all sorts of little hidden passageways. You saw I just pulled this cover up. Yeah. And you can see if we get the camera to come over, don't fall in. We don't need a workers' comp claim today. But you can see there's a passageway. These were long stairs that used to be here that were closed off. We're just off of what's called Statuary Hall, which at one time was the actual House chamber. So, and it's outside there. But this is just an example of some of the little hidden secrets in the Capitol. And so one of the things when we bring tour groups in, if it's a small enough group, if it's a big group, we can't do it. But if it's a small group, we'll actually take them down this hall. Believe it or not, my big self have actually gotten down, and more importantly, out of this hall. I'm not going to debut that again for today, but suffice to say, I've been able to live and tell about it and get out of there. But it goes all the way down. It's an old staircase, and I'm told, I can't verify this, I'm told that this staircase, which opens to, if you go down, it formerly opened to the outside, was one of the staircases that British soldiers used when they breached the Capitol during the War of, I think it was 1814, when they actually attacked Washington. When they came in,
I believe it was the War of 1812.
British soldiers actually came up. So a lot of just amazing history in this building. And so when folks come from North Carolina, we try to show things that if it's a small enough group, things are timed right, and actually let folks go down there. The kids seem to love it. A lot of older folks, not so much. But it's just one of the neat things about the Capitol, as well as the other.
I wonder if they're going to let me go down in that tunnel. Like, listen, bro, can I,
you guys can't be
just give me 2 seconds. I want to look down in this tunnel and relax. I promise I'm not stealing anything. I just want to see where they lead.
It's just on the person we're voting on. You got to go after President Trump. You got to go after President Trump. You got to accuse him of making assumptions.
Somebody needs to stand up and say something. And if you won't, I'm going to.
Where was you standing up for Biden when he was completely incognitive of even run the country? He wasn't even able to run the country. I didn't hear
if
you
speak one single time about that. Somebody needs to, Senator.
You couldn't stand up. That's so hypocritical of you even to say that. Not one single time did you ever say anything about President Trump's inability to run the country.
Sure, I did. You weren't paying attention.
Who was running the country the last 4
years? You
weren't
paying attention.
Who was running the country?
Look at Van Hollen. He just looks like a fucking scumbag weasel.
Open your ears and smell the coffee.
Who was running the country? Ask the question, who was running the country the last 4 years? It wasn't Biden.
Actually, it was. It was Jill.
Hey, man.
Oh. Well, this word I didn't realize was a thing until I actually heard it a couple days ago, and I kept hearing it, and I was like, you know what? Let me look this up. Apparently, it's been a word for the past 2-3 years. Not a word, but a... Well, you'll see.
It's spooky. Hey, man. It's getting spooky. I just came across something called black fatigue. And basically, it's white Americans are sick of our shit.
I got news for you. Black Americans are sick of your shit. That's right. Black people are sick of black people's shit.
Yeah, I mean?
Now you're talking about treating.
All right. So this one, God damn it, I thought it switched. So this next one, it is the press conference that happened this morning where Donald Trump signed an executive order that would decrease the prices of prescription drugs from roughly from 30 to 65%, depending on the medication you were going to get. And he's going to talk about certain medications and how much they cost here as opposed to other places. One example he's going to bring up is from the UK, where a medication that cost $1,300 here was $88 in the UK.
Thank you very much, everybody. I think you're going to see a tremendous cut. I don't think. I mean, I know you're going to see it in Medicaid and Medicare. That cut will be massive because drugs are 50-60% of the cost. So Medicaid costs are going down and Medicare costs are going down because of what we're doing. today, and there's no, it's not like, oh, gee, well, maybe it won't happen. It's going to happen because the other countries have no choice. Now, the drug companies are going to have to say, listen, if you don't pay more, we're not going to give you the drug, and they're willing to do that. So that's it. They have to, we have to equalize. So today, Americans spend 70% more for prescription drugs than we spent in the year 2000. Think of that. Our country has the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by sometimes a factor of 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It's not like they're slightly higher. They're 6, 7, 8 times. There are even cases of 10 times higher. So that you go 10 times more expensive for the same drug, that's big numbers. Even though the United States is home to only 4% of the world's population, pharmaceutical companies make more than 2/3 of their profits in America. So think of that. With 4% of the population, the pharmaceutical companies make most of their money, most of their profits from America. That's not a good thing. Now, I think, by the way, I have great respect for these companies and for the people that run them. I really do. And I think they did one of the greatest jobs in history for their company, convincing people for many years that this was a fair system.
I'm sure RFK is. He finds time.
Understood why, but I figured it out. For years, pharmaceutical and drug companies have said that research and development costs were
What's up, Juniper?
what they are, and for no reason whatsoever. They had to be borne by America alone. Not anymore, they don't. This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the
EU.
European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is in many ways nastier than China. Okay? And we've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. They sell us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none. They don't take our products. That gives us all the cards, and very unfair. So they're going to have to pay more for health care, and we're going to have to pay less. That's all it is. And believe it or not, because it's really the world we're talking about, not just the European Union, but because it's the world, the numbers are for the healthcare company not as bad as you would think. They'll make the same. I think the healthcare companies should make pretty much the same money. I really don't believe they should be affected very much, because it's just a redistribution of wealth. It's a redistribution where it could be the same top line, but it's going to be distributed differently. Europe's going to have to pay a little bit more.
Good.
The rest of the world's going to have to pay a little bit more, and America's going to pay a lot less. Again, because it's a much smaller population than when you think of the whole world. So basically what we're doing is equalizing.
And because of this, these politicians that get all these, to include him, RFK kind of called him out on it, that get money from Big Pharma. Looks like they may not be getting as much anymore.
Word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word, we're going to equalize. Where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that and help them. But it's called Most Favored Nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price, that's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay. Most Favored Nations. That's what it is. One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle. But the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company, is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product. A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40 in the United Kingdom, which is where this gentleman told me he paid a small amount for his shot. But think of that. So $40 versus $500 here. That's not even bad. There are much worse examples. And the weight loss drug,
there it is.
Ozempic, costs 10 times more in the United States than in the rest of the developed world. 10 times more. Why? Why? What did we do? Suckers. But we never had a president that had the courage to do this. And nobody knew the system.
So the Ozempic drug, apparently it's $1,300 here in the U.S., but $88 in the UK. I mean, if you want to put the iguana venom in your fucking stomach, that's on you. But look at that markup. From the UK's 88 to the US's 1,300.
Like I do. I mean, I've gotten to know this system so well. And I don't think it's fair that it benefits Obamacare. Obamacare is a failure. It's not a good health care. It works. I made it work. I had an obligation to make it work, or an obligation to let it die. I chose that we had to make it work. I had to make it as good as possible. And I had a choice. I could have let it fail or make it as good as possible. As good as possible means it was still not very good, but it survived. And we did the right thing. But this makes everything work. And I don't want to have a bad form of health care work because of the fact I was able to cut drug prices by 80 or 90%. So we're going to maybe come up with something. I think this gives the Republicans a chance to actually do a health care that's much better than Obamacare and for less money, which if you guys would work on that along with Congress. But I do want to say that Democrats could have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies, and they knew they were doing the wrong thing. And it's going to be very hard. I was just telling the leader and the speaker that it's going to be very hard for the Democrats to vote against the one big, beautiful deal.
They'll do it.
The greatest tax cuts in history, greatest everything. But now you have the big drug prices because that's going to be included. It makes that whole situation different from a scoring standpoint. I just told them, I called them up about this. I said, I'm going to do something that's going to be very monumental, and you're going to be scoring. You better tell your people that this is going to score really well. And then add hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs to your list also. But as big as the tariffs are, this is something that really hits quickly. 5 years ago, I signed an executive order to confront this disaster, but only confront it in a minor way. It was a good confrontation, but never to this extent. And it took people a little while to understand a very complicated system. But Joe Biden, without any knowledge of what he was doing, terminated the policy and then pretended to negotiate under a new system. And then
a local pharmaceutical company.
You take a look, 5 out of the 10 drugs that he negotiated are now over 200% more expensive in America than the rest of the world, and far more expensive than when he even got involved. Much more expensive than when he got involved. Joe Biden's plan was as you know, because you wrote about it, you don't say it very loudly, but it was a very big failure, was his whole presidency. First, I'm directing the U.S. trade representatives and Department of Commerce to begin investigations into foreign nations that extort drug companies by blocking their products unless they accept bottom line and very low dollar amounts for their product, unfairly shifting the cost burden onto American patients. And we'll be taking a look at that very strongly. The biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to tell those countries, like those represented by the European Union, that, that game is up. Sorry. And if they want to get cute, then they don't have to sell cars into the United States anymore. It's a very big subject. And they won't get cute, because I'll defend the drug companies from that standpoint. They were given a price by the European Unions and other countries. This is what you do. This is what we're going to pay. We're not going to pay any more. Let America pay the difference, because there was a big shortfall. Let America pay it. And that's what we did, but we're not doing it anymore. Next, my administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. And we're using the term other developed countries because there are some countries that need some additional help, and that's fine. I think that's very good.
USAID?
Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries. To accelerate these price restrictions and reductions, my administration will also cut out the middlemen. We're going to totally cut out the famous middlemen. Nobody knows who they are, middlemen. I've been hearing the term for 25 years, middlemen. I don't know who they are, but they're rich. That I can tell you. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen. So we're cutting out, Bobby, the middlemen. It's so important, right? You got to do that. They're worse than the drug companies. They don't even make a product, and they make a fortune. It's very smart business people, that I can tell you. If companies make no significant progress toward most favored nation pricing, which we will insist that they do, so I think I'm wasting time talking about it. We're going to insist upon it. And we'll insist, and we're going to help the drug companies with the other nations, because those other nations do a lot of trading with us. They need our trade, just like China needed us very badly. They need us just as badly. We will do whatever we have to with trade, just like we did some great things with trade with India and Pakistan. It really helped the situation, very heated situation. Could have lost millions of people, more than millions. I mean, many millions of people. And they want to do business with America, but we never used our powers that way. We never knew how. We never had people that knew how to do that. We'll also open up America's market to safe and legal imports of affordable drugs from other countries, putting dramatic downward pressure on prices. And if necessary, we'll investigate the drug companies, and we'll, in particular, investigate the countries that are doing this. And we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it onto tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize. Everybody should pay the same price. And special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people. I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders, I think, that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
Totally fell asleep on that one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 1 hour and 4 minutes. I'm a little bit late, so fucking sue me. But we're going to have a music break, and I hope y'all enjoy this. It's a little bit old, but at the same time, I don't care.
celebration starting under the street lights. The scene is being set, a night for romance, a night you won't forget. So come join the fun. This ain't no time to be staying home. Ooh, there's too much going on. Oh, tonight is gonna be a night like you've never known. We're gonna have a good time the whole night long. Oh, to the beat of the rhythm of the night, dance until the morning light. Forget about the worries on your mind. You can leave them all behind. Oh, the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah.
And welcome back. Hope y'all enjoyed that slight music break that we've had today. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I was looking for a song this morning. And that was like, hey, hit me right in the face. Like, why don't we play this one? And I was like, why not? Then I forgot to add it to my playlist. And then I added it just now. So our next topic is going to stay on the Donald Trump train, and we're going to talk about a certain deal that was hashed out this past weekend, and it is a 90-day measure, which will give them 90 days to hash out a better deal. And once this country notices that we're making all these trade deals with everyone around them, then they're going to realize, you know what? I love the hoof GP. Anyway, let's get to this one. It's about China. And well, in case you missed it, by the way, if you order from Temu or Shein, whatever the fuck that's called, you have 90 days. You have 90 days.
The Trump administration securing another win, announcing a major tariff deal with China. Trade will be one of the major issues on the agenda when the president makes his high-stakes trip, and the first one to the Middle East. He's going overseas today.
Wait a minute.
White House Press Secretary Caroline.
So everyone here watches the hoof GP. That's why we are together forever.
Levitt joins us now. Caroline, we're just mentioning there's probably 7 major stories. I know I'm going to disappoint somebody by not bringing it up. First off, your reaction, and what could you tell us about the China deal that has tariffs dropping from 145, 125 respectively to 30 and 10?
This is an extraordinary first step in the right direction. And thanks to the strength of President Trump, Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer were able to cut this initial deal with China. China agreed to reduce their tariffs on the United States by 115%. They also agreed to continue having discussions about opening Chinese markets to American-made products and goods. And they also agreed to continue seriously discussing the grave impact that Chinese-produced fentanyl is having right here in the United States and our people. So this is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Bessent, Ambassador Greer, and of course President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
Do you know yet, Caroline, if they're going to unfreeze their rare earth and the magnets that we use for our technical equipment as well as our military equipment?
I do understand that was part of the discussion, but I also know that the administration is working overtime 24/7 with a dedicated team to onshore that very critical supply chain here at home. We need to be producing those magnets.
Am I the only one that's not high right now? This is bullshit.
Rare earth minerals, and also look at pharmaceuticals, look at semiconductors. There are critical supply chains that we have been dependent on other countries for far too long. So while we continue to negotiate these good and fair trade deals, we will also continue to boost our domestic manufacturing here at home to strengthen our national security.
All right, so we got the UK deal, the framework for a China deal. Is there another deal queued up, ready to go today before you leave?
Well, look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis, and President Trump was instrumental in negotiating a ceasefire with India and Pakistan. This is all in the last week. President Trump and his team are working incredibly hard on behalf of the country and the world to secure peace deals and trade deals. And don't forget, we have a tax deal coming too. The administration is working with Capitol Hill to sign the largest tax cut.
So this tax cut, I have a feeling that there's going to be people on both sides that vote against this because it's a tax cut for us. Me, you, everyone in this chat. However, also in that bill, it's raising the taxes on the wealthy class. You know, like they always say, tax the rich. Well, Donald Trump wants to tax the rich even more. But now there's people coming out saying, no, we were just kidding. We were just kidding. We're not going to vote for that.
In American history right now.
So this pharmaceutical deal, I'm just going off the Truth Social post. It says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%.
Oh, they totally put this on backward.
We are going to pay.
I hate Kilmeade. So, as you guys may or may not have noticed, we have an issue in this country with illegal migrants. And we're having a hard time getting rid of them. Borders closed. But you know what? Everybody in the world must be thinking, oh my God, those Americans are racist. Why can't they open their borders to all these illegals? I mean, people coming here for asylum, right? Well, oddly enough, we made a trade deal with a country who feels the same way we do. Wait a minute, what?
It is time to begin mass deportation and remigration, and it is time to send them home. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home. Send them home.
Oh, I guess I'm the only one here that doesn't watch storm chasing. I'd much rather be outside in the storm. Because maybe I'll get electrocuted and maybe I'll get some superpowers. Maybe I'll get all my powers back. Huh.
Send them home. Send them home. Send them home.
It is not racist to defend your country.
This is not the United States, by the way.
It is not racist to defend your country. It is common sense. Mass immigration to bankrupt the nation. Mass immigration to bankrupt the nation. Hey, communist scum. Communist scum.
When the Berlin Wall fell, which side did they go to? I'll tell you something, they definitely didn't go back to East Germany. I'll tell you that for free.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen and blokes in dresses, welcome to Aldershot. We love you coming to our town because it highlights our protests, brings the locals out in numbers, and you just look foolish. All those ones in masks.
Oh, look at those guys.
But I don't mind misgendering you whether you're a woman or a man. But, you know, thank you for coming. Thank you for highlighting the cause of all the illegals in the hotel. It's good to have numbers out on the street. Because of the oak tree, you can't be seen. So, all the cars probably think you're part of us.
You would never trust a lefty with your kids. You would never trust a lefty with your kids. You would never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty. Never trust a lefty with your kids.
That was ingenious.
We'll add that one now. You will never trust a lefty.
No, it's the same one.
Never trust a lefty. Never
Ah.
trust a lefty with your
You had me until I saw the Israeli
Today,
flag.
my name's Jack. I'm the CEO of Turning Point. It's an absolute honour.
All right. So he's just going to talk. He's
work
really
with lots
fucking
more
boring.
people
So was
first
the
to
other
put this
dude.
protest on today.
The rest of that was trash. Now,
are you ready for
we're going to go from the United States, but not immigration. We're going to go from England and their immigration to the United States and the failure that could be coming across for California.
For all the black men.
So I want y'all, if you're in Cali, Batmom, this is for you.
In jail for smoking weed.
I just feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking weed. And we know historically what that has meant and who has gone to jail.
Hold up.
Wait a minute.
Something ain't right.
Dude, get out of our freaking country, dude. Get out of my state. Get the hell out of here, bro. Dude, seriously.
If Kamala Harris ran for governor of California, would you vote for her?
I mean, I can't vote yet, but maybe, sure.
A little light voter fraud. Okay, I can't vote yet, but yeah, I'll totally be voting.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Hell no,
They are
Ireland.
really bad.
Ireland's even worse. They will fucking drag you out in the street and embarrass you and probably beat the shit out of you.
At decisions.
Are you excited to have Kamala as your governor?
She's not going to be governor. You know that. Oh my goodness. My life is bad enough already. To flush it further down the toilet? Oh.
Right now, the state is pretty bad as it is, but I think it would get worse.
What's your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Losing to President Trump.
What do you think she's done in her career that would make her
word salad?
Not a single.
Gay. Well, sunset as the sun setting on the Golden State, meaning will Kamala Harris come in and thoroughly destroy this place? She's planning on running for governor. We're going to ask the fine people here if they want Kamala to be their governor here in this state. You know, she fake worked at the Golden Arches. Why not run the Golden State? Are you ready for Kamala Harris to be governor of California?
Kamala Harris is a hard no.
That's what we think. I think it's probably better than Newsom, but that's not, much to say.
Whoa,
Maybe
whoa.
she couldn't make it as president, failed in every interview that she was on.
California votes her in. California is the lowest IQ state in the nation.
I personally never liked her, and I was kind of open-minded to like maybe she has some good things, but she never did.
So these are Californians.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
If Kamala Harris ran for governor of California, would you vote for her?
I mean, I can't vote yet, but maybe, sure.
A little light voter fraud. Okay, I can't vote yet, but yeah, I'll totally be voting. Are you ready for Kamala Harris to be governor of California?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Yeah, no?
Definitely not.
She's so qualified.
All these
Absolutely
racist
not.
people.
Kamala Harris was defeated by Donald Trump in the 2024 election, and now she's running for governor of California. What is your message to Kamala Harris?
Dude, get out of our freaking country, dude. Get out of my
Whoa.
state. Get the hell out of here, bro. Dude, seriously. I'm 6'3", by the way.
Do you want her to be governor of California or no?
No, before she came up, besides sucking a lot of dick to get there, she put all the black men in jail for smoking.
Did you hear what this motherfucker just said?
Before she came up, besides sucking a lot of dick to get there, she put all the black men in jail for smoking weed. And she put as many as possible in jail just so she can go up there. And I didn't like that,
I just feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking weed. And we know historically what that has meant and who has gone to jail.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
You're the
Something ain't
motherfucker
right.
that put him
Kamala
in the
Harris is
jail.
running for governor of California. Do you think that's a good idea?
She can try, I guess.
Kamala Harris is a dumb
I think based on her past performance, it might not be a good idea.
I'm saying is I think the Democrats should be smarter than that to have a dumb person run for governor. I mean, they should have a better choice than that.
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Oh my goodness. My life is bad enough already. To flush it further down the toilet? Oh, we need to hang on to our state. We need to make it better. It actually could get worse.
Well, right now, the state is pretty bad as it is,
Right.
okay, but I think it would get worse.
And Kamala just thinks it's a big joke, thinks just, ha, 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 ha. Like the Wicked Witch of the West, I mean, cackling like it's a joke.
So Kamala Harris wants to be governor of California. She didn't have a great election. What do you say to that about that?
I'm sure she'd win. California's very left, so I don't know how I felt about her. I didn't feel too crazy about her. It's kind of a settle for Biden situation. So
I think the state needs a change. I used to live here, moved to Arizona for a reason, and then, it's gone blue. So what are we going to do?
Do you want? Are you excited to have Kamala as your governor?
She's not going to be governor. You know that.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
True story. I've fallen out of coconut trees. I've fallen out of coconut trees because I was a dumb kid.
Sir, are you ready for Kamala Harris to be governor of California?
Oh, I'm visiting from Europe.
Oh, okay. Would you like Kamala Harris to be president of Holland?
No way. It's not going to happen.
What do you think she's done in her career that would make her qualified to run for governor of California?
Nothing.
We saw her as vice president.
Yep.
What did she do?
Nothing.
Can she say anything without being a word salad?
Talking about the significance of the passage of time. The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
I know for a fact she didn't earn any of that. I don't think she's truly qualified.
What's your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
I don't have one.
I mean, she's gotten herself to where she is, but I don't know much past that she deserves to be in the position she's in. I mean, we can talk about AOC and, you know, how she's making her way into it now, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, she would be like kind of California's AOC.
100%.
She's so accomplished.
No comment here.
She has so many accomplishments.
Could you name a few for me?
I'm not a professional. I should be good at word salads. She's a professional. Those word salads got to go.
She didn't lie about working at McDonald's.
Yeah, she did. And Trump did show her up by working there.
Yeah, that's right. Trump worked more days at McDonald's.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah. What was your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment? She was vice president for 4 solid years.
Oh, I can't really think of one.
Maybe she put her pants on right.
What's your favorite Kamala Harris accomplishment?
Losing to President Trump.
So you voted for Kamala. Can you tell me, you know, she was senator from California. She was attorney general. From your perspective, what is your favorite accomplishment?
There was a lot of things that I didn't agree on about her.
Do you have any favorite acts as vice president for Kamala?
Nope.
I can't recall anything right now.
You're just like Joe Biden. You can't recall.
Yeah.
So are you from
Thank
here?
you. Yeah, born and raised.
Really? What do you think? How do you think the state's doing? Good?
I mean, I don't know. It's not looking the best, but you know.
Well, everyone, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, has an opinion on Donald Trump. How do you think he's doing, 1 to 10?
It's too early to like decide, to be honest. You know, we're not fully leaning with him, but we're also not fully radical left. So
when you're talking guys who can do pull-ups in cowboy boots, it's almost guaranteed to not be radical left. Okay, whatever it is, it's not radical left.
With
Pretty cute, by the way. I would definitely take those down, maybe. You know,
6'3", by the way.
I don't think you'd be the first couple miles on her. Got a few miles.
She climbed her way up the ladder through that, but you know, if she wants to climb this ladder, come on ahead.
You're looking at the next first man of California. That's right. Yeah. Straight to the governor. She's a cougar. Yeah,
I like those.
Hell no.
I'm a carnivore, you know.
I don't really have a message. I just want to say I'm 6'5.5". I weigh like 215, and I have very pretty eyes and a nice smile.
What's going on, homie?
Good to see you, brother.
This is great. Yes. So I didn't know that we were talking with like the king of weed here. She laughed about smoking weed. She like laughed about it after locking up a bunch of people for smoking. So she locks up hundreds of thousands of people for smoking weed. Then she giggles about it.
She says she was listening to Tupac. And if any of the fact checkers are out there, you guys will see that the time that she was in college was not even the same timeline of when that album came out. It's ridiculous. Where are all my fact checkers at?
And what's your career advice to Kamala Harris?
Get a job.
McDonald's.
A real job.
McDonald's.
Tell her to get a
McDonald's.
real job. Like we do, get a real job. We work for our money.
Start low. Hit the fries first. You know what I'm saying? Look at my hands.
All my favorite people.
I always thought it was only black people that said McDonald's. He just proved me wrong.
Gonna say nice things about me. What's your message to her?
Kamala, please don't embarrass yourself again.
Vote how you want, but stay the heck out of Arizona, please.
I think that's the message from the entire country. As a Floridian, stay the out of Florida. What's one thing you'd like to see fixed in California?
You know, as a young adult, housing. I would love to see things be more affordable.
I really would love to know what your plan is to help.
While I was recording this, I guess Newsom said he's telling them to break down all the homeless encampments in California.
Lower the cost of living.
Having the right to have aspirations and dreams, and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that.
For example, my friend Jag over here, we're trying to figure out how to pay rent.
You gonna get sugar mamas?
Yeah, that's what we're kind of working on right now.
Don't be scared about me making money. I am in love with a beautiful girl who makes plenty of it. She'll be my sugar mama.
What's the number one thing you'd like to see change in the state of California?
Probably the homelessness, I'd say. At least compared to some of the other places, they're not as aggressive here.
That's a great city tagline. Our homeless are less aggressive. Do you have a message for the president? Do you have a message for Donald Trump?
Send me money.
Stick to what you said you were gonna do. and I'll be happy.
You know, you're doing great things for this country, and you know, just great president, man. Overall.
I mean, if you have money to spend, you can spare it our way. We're in HB, so just hit us up. I'll slide you my number or my TikTok. Yeah, me.
Final thing, what's your message to Donald Trump? Save California.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, work hard, wake up early. You know, do what you do.
Listen, guys, I'm aware that Huntington Beach is in Orange County, and it tends to be.
Yeah, it's definitely very conservative. So this next one here, why did it just do that? That was weird. All right, so you guys know maybe a week or two ago, and they showed Officer Tatum at a UC Berkeley event to where Antifa decided to try and play their game, and Officer Tatum threw one of them across the yard. He didn't, but it was pretty close to it. So apparently I didn't know he actually had a conversation with some of these people. And one of these people, and I was showing to my kid yesterday, I was watching, like, this dude literally almost started crying when he got proved wrong. And that's what's wrong with these beta bitches.
Last thing, who you think gonna help you? Yourself? With what? They're gonna shoot you? They're gonna shoot you?
Do you know what happened the last time TPUSA was here, like 3 years ago?
You guys assaulted them.
The Proud Boys came.
And then what happened?
We said nothing.
Why are you shaking and being weird? These guys are not gonna shoot you.
I'm upset.
You upset?
I'm angry, and I'm rightfully upset.
No, you're
and
not.
angry about this situation.
You're upset over false reality.
People that don't like you because of your skin.
Who don't like me? These guys?
Are you kidding me? How many white people are surrounded?
White people hate me?
What? It's you and this one person, one black guy?
What?
And maybe another one person, other person of color?
White people? So every white person hate black people?
No, but
do you hate me?
You're with, do.
Who?
Do you know there's being concentration camps built right now?
Well, who's building them?
And they're kidnapping people?
Who's building them?
Trump and ICE.
Trump is building up. Where?
Has passed
Where?
orders to
reopen
Guantanamo Bay.
Where are they building them at?
We never closed it.
He's reopening Guantanamo Bay.
We never closed
evidence
it.
and I'll listen.
Oh my God!
You guys really believe this? You're upset over nothing. You think that white people hate me? You think these cops are gonna kill me for no reason? Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, if you weren't a spokesperson.
You know how crazy that sounds?
If you weren't a spokesperson for them, they'd kill you.
They're protecting me right now. What's your whole argument is over.
First thing that I see when I look up Guantanamo Bay, U.S. has spent $40 million to jail about 400 migrants at Guantanamo.
Migrants at Guantanamo Bay. Migrants.
Hey, but here's the
migrants.
Difference between people in the Holocaust. You marry someone undesirable, then it's okay if you get rid of them. That's how fascism works.
It's hard to understand you, please.
The difference between what is considered a migrant by the conservative community and what is actually a migrant is it's different than what you would expect.
I can't believe you guys are upset over this stuff. That's not real.
That's a human being you're putting in prison.
No, the person is illegal in our country.
They're a person. I don't care if they're fucking illegal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
They do. They have rights. They do have rights.
It takes
They do have rights. They do have rights.
There's no such thing as a concentration camp. He didn't mean that.
Correct.
Yes.
But his numbers are very flawed. The numbers that he's pulling, there are not that many.
Where's he pulling his numbers from?
He's surveying the average Americans and looking at the voter polls, and he's seeing how many Mexican Americans or Mexicans in general or other diverse minority groups are there voting, and using that to base off numbers and get a general population sense. But the numbers
I'm a diverse minority group, and I voted Republican.
that he's saying are illegal is not correct. In fact, he's actually going to end up deporting a number of.
How does deportation? Do you know how the deportation process works?
I know.
How does it work? Explain it.
People out of their homes and kidnap them.
How do you know who to deport?
That is what.
Because they're
What? Explain it.
Take off your
So
fucking
they
mask.
just go to
Right?
any Mexican.
They're taking people from
What activists have they taken?
She doesn't want to take the mask off or show anybody else because she knows people are going to look at her like, you're a fucking moron. Did you really just say that and like not even hear yourself? Concentration camps.
Hold on.
In the last few administrations before Trump's current administration and Trump's last administration, the only deportations that would be counted, and the only way that we would know that there are immigrants who migrated here illegally, are the ones that are arrested after committing a crime. We've seen that in Obama's administration. We even saw that in Biden's administration, which had currently deported more immigrants than Trump's administration.
Yeah, because he's only been there for like 2 months. But so are you
I don't
upset
know
with
how that's a
Biden?
comparison.
Biden's first 2 months,
Are you upset with Biden?
he had a system of checks and balances.
No. Are you upset with Biden's deportations?
Well, no, because he still had he had a system of checks and
What checks and balances did he have that Trump don't have?
Trump. Okay, so the ICE administration, the
ICE administration.
agency right now, we have seen them literally deport people that were just somewhat associated with illegal immigrants that had some.
It's not somewhat associated. They run a check on them and they're not citizens, so they
Yep.
deport them.
They run a check on a person that is illegal.
They're trying to denaturalize.
Okay.
Is it illegal to be in this country without documentation? How did I get to this country? And my mama was in this country.
Here's this fucking thing this white girl's talking about again. This was brought up the other day. So, how did you get this family get to this country? They were brought here as slaves. Oh, so you're an illegal? No, they were brought here as slaves. Oh, so they're illegal? No. They were brought here as slaves, which in reality is actually a lie.
And my grandma was in this country. My great-great-grandpa was in this country.
So that's
I don't really know how they got to this country.
It's an logical fallacy to say that somebody is
Who brought them here?
land that they don't own.
Hold on, no. Who brought them here? Who brought them here? Okay, who enslaved them before they got
The
here?
white people actually didn't. The Portuguese brought them here, if you want to go buy history books, but they weren't stolen. They were given to them for gold and weapons.
Who do you say?
Black people. We were enslaved. How do you know? You weren't there. Did you take? I took this person. I took Africana Studies at the University of Arizona. I know what I'm talking about.
That's because that kid was supporting Hamas.
And slavery during war. There's a difference between chattel slavery and slavery during war.
Okay, you say I'm illiterate or whatever. How you going to? You're not black, so how you telling me what the black experience is? You're not black. Are you black?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay.
I'm mixed.
Yeah.
What?
You mix with what?
I'm mixed black and white.
Who's black on your family side?
How do you guess?
I don't know. You don't look black at all.
Yeah.
You have no black features at all.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm a mixed person.
So you are black?
White passing.
You are black?
Yes, I am.
Who's your black parent?
Why do you need to know that?
Okay. Okay, so then I have to just believe you?
Yes, and I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Neither.
What the fuck?
Neither of your parents are black. That's what my guess is.
Okay, you're a dumb fuck.
Okay, well, you say what you want to say. But you do acknowledge
Tatum's
that
right.
Africans enslaved black people before they sold them to white people. You know that, right?
They didn't treat them like white people did.
How do you know?
Because I've listened to history and I've learned.
You listen to history where?
Okay.
So they treated them well?
What?
They treated them well?
No one said they treated them well. But
The fact that they sold them was horrific. And let them get on ships and come over here knowing that 2/3 of them will die, that's
white
horrific.
people legal in this country? How did they get here? Did they
You said what?
kill the natives?
If
Yeah,
what?
they did.
If what?
Are white people illegal in this country? How did they get here?
Natives own slaves too, you know that?
That was
They
a
did.
war. Okay.
Native Americans own slaves too, you know that?
There's a difference.
Who was the last group? Who was the last group of people that released? Who was the last group of people that released their slaves in the United States of America? Who was the last group? It wasn't white people. It was a Choctaw Indian.
Okay.
Yeah, so Indians own slaves too. Everybody got blood on their hands.
It's
Do you know
not
that?
the same. I'm not
Do you know that white people enslaved white people
didn't chop off
here
their
before
hair
they?
because it was fucking-
White people enslaved white people here
They didn't
before
kick their
they.
heads around like soccer
Are you
balls.
listening? White people enslaved white people here
Wait.
before they enslaved natives. Before.
So the U.S. were cutting the head off slaves and using them as soccer balls. I don't even think soccer was around back then. I must have missed that
You know
part.
that? Do you know that black people were?
It's happening everywhere.
Who was the first legal slave owner in American history?
The black
Who
man.
was the first legal slave owner in American history?
I don't want to answer any of your questions.
Of course you don't. He's black. He's a black
Can I
man.
ask about your tattoo?
He's a black man. Did you know that?
Abraham Lincoln free the slaves?
No. The first slave owner in American history was Anthony Johnson, a black man. Did you know
It
that?
was.
I didn't even talk about this sex.
Of course you don't hear. What did you say?
I just want to ask about your tattoo. Are you Christian?
What you say?
Are you Christian?
Yes, I'm Christian.
Okay. So you believe in Jesus, right? You follow Jesus?
Can you speak up just a little bit?
You believe in Jesus. You follow Jesus, right?
I do follow Jesus.
Okay. So you know that Jesus wanted us to love everyone, right?
What do you say?
Jesus wanted us to love everyone.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do love everybody.
What about migrants?
We do love them.
But you're not.
Legal migrant.
Henley, we're supposed to let them into our home.
We're supposed to let every single. What about the ones who are committing crimes and murdering people?
The Bible says to love everyone.
No. Should they get deported?
Doesn't the Bible say murder's wrong?
The ones who are killing people, should they get deported? Should they get deported?
In a land. You are also once a foreigner. You're supposed to love
Do you love everybody?
Yeah, actually.
No,
Then why are you so vitriolic against me?
Because you're hating others. You follow Jesus. Jesus wants us to love everybody.
I do love you. I'm being nice to you. You don't want to be mean to me. And do you hate cops?
Yeah.
I thought Jesus told you to love everybody.
Cops are the fucking weapon of the state.
They're people just like you are.
Jesus was an anti-capitalist too. He's a fucking cop.
How is Jesus anti-capitalist and anti-cop?
Have you read the Bible?
You clearly haven't.
Have you seen the fucking?
You clearly haven't.
Read the fucking?
The Bible says you should love everybody.
Pigs on thrones. Have
Even
you read
cops.
That part? Have you read that part?
Even cops.
Where he fucking whipped them?
Even
The
cops.
vendors in the temple, have you
These
read
guys
that?
haven't killed anybody. What are you talking about?
I said cops who kill people. I didn't say these guys.
Oh, you're trying to cook?
They went to jail. What cop killed somebody and didn't go to jail?
I hope you get my good side.
A lot of them are still getting paid.
They look cute.
You look like a
Personally, I
retard.
feel like it's important to recognize that there's a lot of corruption that ends up happening in a lot of federally funded institutions, such as things like.
You guys are very ridiculous. Why are you singling out this cop?
He had a hand on his gun for a second.
He have his hand on his gun. He's resting his hand on his holster.
I mean, that's.
You think he's gonna?
That was
Why is he carrying a
downrange.
gun around?
I always rested my hand on my holster or my pistol, especially when I was out walking the streets.
Why is he carrying a gun around a bunch of fucking unarmed kids?
Do people shoot up schools?
They do, especially colleges.
They have a gun on us.
They're not protecting you from you. They're protecting you from somebody else.
No, they're protecting you.
The black man.
They're protecting all of these motherfuckers.
They're protecting the black man because that's what you're gonna say.
No, they're protecting the people who have...
Why do you have a problem with them, man? These are good guys.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. How do you know? You have never met them.
Why don't they do some
They're putting their life on the line for you to be ungrateful.
Cops are not required to protect
You've never
you.
seen a cop do anything bad
That's
in
why
your
they're standing
life.
here.
No, they're not. There's actually a Supreme Court case that says cops are not required to protect
Show
you.
me a cop
You
that
know
won't protect you.
They're not legally
Okay.
required to protect you.
Yes, they are.
That's a lie.
No, it's not. It's a
It's
Supreme
their
job.
You fucking
It's a
idiot.
lie.
Look up the Supreme
Well, then why do they do it? Why do they put their life on the line every day to protect
They
people?
don't. They often don't, and they use
Where's
that
often
in-
don't? You have no idea what you're talking about. Have you ever did a ride along before?
Yo,
Have you ever done
and this is where this fucking punk ass faggot kid starts breaking down.
a ride along
Not
with a cop
the
before?
Get in pig's
the
paw.
masked
See how
retard.
you talking?
I've got. Hey,
What value are you adding to this? You should respect these people that put the uniform on every day.
It's not a pleasant ride.
Okay,
I've gotten.
I'm done talking to you. Go ahead.
So why a lot of people don't like police, at least from
Because
my
they're
perspective-
ignorant.
No,
It is.
it's because in places where a lot of people come from, like where I come from like the Compton, Paramount, Lakewood area, where a lot of people
You're
are
not
killed
from
by
Compton.
police.
How many people were killed by police where you from? Where are you from?
fucking
What
know.
city?
I'm from Compton.
How many people were killed by police in Compton?
I couldn't tell you an exact.
How many unarmed people? You should do your research. You're saying they kill a lot of people. How many is a lot?
Because I've known like 3 people that have died from
Okay,
police.
that's 3.
Last year, a total of 23, I didn't mention race, a total of 23 people were shot by a cop that was unarmed. Only 23 people total. So I doubt you know 3 people. I highly doubt it.
How many?
That's 3 from my own perspective.
No, do your research. How many people have been killed by police?
I'll look it up.
Unarmed. Let's go unarmed.
23
Let's go
people in
unarmed.
2024.
All right. How many people live in your city?
Okay, let's see how many people.
I want to see how many people live in your city. How many people have been shot unarmed in your city?
Since 2023, it says approximately 90,980.
In the country.
I was talking about my city.
Your city. 90,000 people have been killed by police in your city.
No, I said that you said the population.
Oh, 90,000. Okay. How many people have been killed by police?
How many unarmed people?
You guys are racist.
Dude, I
man.
looked it up way
You're
quicker than
racist.
that.
Yeah, you are. That's racist. Look at this smart guy.
You know what?
He's so smart, dude.
I can't find it.
I'm gonna tell
Oh,
you.
you can't find it?
It's dismal. You can't name a single unarmed person that been shot in your city this year, last year. You can't name one. There ain't one.
Wait for it.
How many black people you think cops shoot unarmed every year? How many? Let's name it.
Probably like around.
Give me a guess.
8,000 for the entire country. Because we're considered.
No, I want you to say that louder. How many black people were shot unarmed by police officers in 1 year?
In 1 year?
What's your guess?
The entire country.
What's your guess? In the whole country? Unarmed.
Approximately, I'm not going to step down from that. Approximately 90,000.
90,000. Okay, what's your approach? Ma'am, sir, whatever. I don't know what you identify as.
Wait, how many black people in particular?
Unarmed. You said 90,000 people.
Wait, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm talking about all people.
All people? You can go with all people.
Yeah.
Like including
23.
the majority Latino.
All people. All people. 90,000 people?
90,000 for the entire country.
You're
the
saying
entire country.
Yeah.
Like
yes. Look it up. Look it up. No, look it up. Forget unarmed. Let's go with how many people cops killed in a year total.
How many
out of all people that they killed. And you are outraged because you believe it's 90,000 people.
He knows 3 people.
When you look it up, let me know.
Okay, I'm not outraged because of that. I'm outraged because it happened.
No, look it up. How many people?
He already knows the statistic.
I do, because I looked it up.
Me too.
You should be looking it up.
You literally have your phone looking it up right now.
And so you are outraged at a number that's not even close to being real.
With a total of 1,173 civilians being shot, 248 black.
So are you gonna change the way you think about cops?
No.
When you said 90,000 in 1 year, and you find that it was 1,000, and majority of them deserve to be shot. They got guns. They're doing high-speed chases. They're saving people's lives.
I'll give you
what
that.
Are you saying?
I'll give you that my number was confused.
Your number was insanely off. 90,000 people?
But
it would take cops, I don't know, 1,000 years or so. 9,000 years.
This still does happen on an unprecedented level.
No, it doesn't. That's not true. How many black people shot unarmed every year?
42.
Unarmed? No, unarmed.
Unarmed? Let's see.
Because that should be our premise, right? Unarmed. And not every unarmed person is not a threat, but we're just going to say every unarmed person is a threat. How many people were shot unarmed by police, black people, in the whole country?
The whole country?
2019, there was 25.
2019, only 25?
Unarmed?
Yep, unarmed black people.
2024.
How many black people are in America?
A lot.
40 million.
That's 25.
46 million. That's 0.100 some percent.
Don't you care that 25
That's more
people
likely you'll
died?
get shot.
Don't you care that 25 people died?
But they were, a lot of times they were doing stuff that necessitated use of force.
They were unarmed. You don't care 25 individuals?
You don't even know what
no, it's a way of life.
Not considering the amount of people
we have already determined that you have no idea what you're talking about.
of crimes and are falsely convicted of using.
What do you say?
Okay, so there are a lot of people, including black people, Hispanic people, white people, people of all races, but particularly people of color, who will get antagonized, shot at, or attacked by police because they seem threatening.
How about you do a ride along? How about you do a ride along?
Wait for the.
With what department?
I have. Riverside.
He's about to call him out.
And they profile people in Riverside?
In Riverside? Yes, they profile people.
And you saw it with your own eyes?
Not on the ride along because I was like 5 years old.
You can't do a ride along at 5 years old.
So I actually looked this up. In Southern California, it's typically 18, but they can be done at 16. But it's normally 18 for ride-alongs.
Oh, you just lied. You just made that up.
I didn't make that up.
You can't do a ride along at 5.
I did not make that up. I was probably like 10 or something.
You can't do a ride along at 10. You can't do a ride along at 10 years old.
I did though.
You didn't.
I literally.
Who do you ride with?
You expect me to remember the name?
Man, you made it up. You can't do a ride
He
along
just
at
said
10 years old.
Riverside.
You should be honest with yourself, and it'll help you not be so angry at cops when you just made up a scenario, and then you think 90.
If you said you were 10, you're a college kid, I'm willing to bet you're only 18 or 19 years old.
20,000 people were getting killed every year.
Now you're saying that what I experienced is not true.
It's a lie. You can't do a ride along at 10 years old.
How do you know if I didn't? Like, how do you know if it's the same?
Did you know I was a cop?
Oh.
Okay, which department? Where?
Tucson. But nobody's going to let a 10-year-old do a
Nope.
ride along with a cop. You know how crazy
That's
that is?
dangerous.
You have to sign a waiver to do a ride along with a cop, just in case you get killed. Because whether you know it or not, it's dangerous being a cop.
Wait, okay, so what's the ride along? What's the difference between just riding in a car with a cop?
What you mean riding a car? You talking about riding around the parking lot?
Yeah, like that kind of, and then going around
Well, you didn't.
the city.
Listen, you know you made it up. Just admit you made it up. It's fine. Let's move on from there. If you rode around the parking lot, you didn't see anything.
I rode around the parking lot, and then I went around one of the parks in front of my school, and then I went.
It didn't happen, man. Okay.
I did. It did happen.
That's fine.
It did happen.
That's fine. I think we're done. I don't see anybody else have any question for me. Okay. I hope that you leave this. I hope you leave this conversation having a little more respect for police officers, because you thought that 90,000 cops,
I have respect
people
for
killed
police
90.
officers.
Well, these guys have done nothing to you. You should respect them.
I don't know. I feel like you'd get a DUI. Well, not you, but a DUI during a ride along. That would be insane.
Is that fair?
I hope you free yourself from the home Satan has made in your
A what?
I hope you free yourself from the home Satan has made in your heart, because obviously...
The what? The home state? She can't even hear you. Why you got a mask on? Anyway, I mean, honestly, there's nobody around you with a mask on.
I don't know.
You don't know? You trying to conceal your identity, or you just want to wear a mask?
Coward.
I just asked why. I didn't say you can or can't. But why? Why are you looking at me like that? I'm just asking you a question. You should say
No
because
answer.
I'm sick or because I don't want to get sick or something. It makes no sense for you to have a hoodie on and a mask on and all this unless you want to conceal your identity. Why would you want to conceal your identity? Why are you looking at me like that?
No response.
You mad at me?
You're thinking you're mean bugging. I'm gonna scare you.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add or questions or disagreement before I walk out of here? Okay, good. Well, I hope that your attitude changes.
Isn't that crazy? Every time today's youth gets challenged, and they try to say, well, what's your source? What's your source? And then you make, hey, look it up. And then they can't find it. I watched this last night, so I was able to look up some of the statistics because I wanted to know if this kid was fucking knew what he was talking about or not. And obviously he doesn't. It take 5 minutes of research to check pretty much everything that Officer Tatum said. It didn't take long at all. And that's why you have the internet in your hand. In your hand. Shit that I didn't have until 2008? 2009? Maybe later. But yeah, because I think in 2008, 2009, I had the old Razor flip phones. No internet on that. And that's, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the educational system in the past 25 years, but I have a good idea. And it's not teaching kids. It's that no student left behind. Everybody passes. You can graduate high school and not be able to read a third grade level in Baltimore. Or can't even do math. 2 times 2 is not 4. 2 plus 2, on the other hand, is also not 4. It's 5. That's what I was told. And you will believe it. You will eat the bugs. And you will like them. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had for us today. We'll see what happens tonight and in the early morning tomorrow. Like I said, I have 3 weeks with just 2 kids, no wife. Got nothing better to do. Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to put a gun in the video. Sorry, YouTube. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, I'm not telling you how to think because that's just fucking stupid. And if I told you how to think, you'd be like one of those fucking kids in that video that we just watched. But you're not. You're here to think. Because I'm here to just telling you to think. Enjoy the rest of your day. enjoy your week. And, obviously, we're going to be back again.